Okay, quick word, guys. So when Moses was on the mountain with the Lord, he saw the burning bush and received the 10 commandments. He was there for 40 days and 40 nights, and in the time that he was up there, the Israelites were down at the bottom of the mountain, and they saw what was going on. They saw the cloud and the fire, and they saw the glory of the Lord, that the glory of the Lord was with Moses, and they saw his power, And it was too long for them to wait. 40 days was too long for them to wait for Moses to come down from the mountain. You see, and in that time, what happened was, because they grew impatient, because they weren't patient to wait for the instruction of the Lord and to wait for the Lord to, manifest in their life, let's say, with direction, they had crafted an idol in that time. In just 40 days. Because they weren't able to wait, they crafted an idol to worship. And, when we talk about idols, it can mean many things, right? But it is truly lack of patience in waiting on God, waiting on the Lord, waiting for the fruit to develop, waiting for the promise to physically manifest, waiting to physically experience what the Lord has said he will do, waiting to receive what the Lord has said he will give, right? If we fail to be patient in that time and we start to do things on our own, what happens is we end up crafting an idol. We end up crafting an idol sometimes, just like the Israelites who couldn't wait 40 days for Moses to come down from the mountain. And one of the instructions that the Lord had for the Israelites in the tablets, in the 10 commandments, was actually the instruction to not do exactly what they had done in that time that they were waiting, which was to make an idol, an engraven image, and worship that idol. And this happens in our lives sometimes, maybe not in the same way, but we can grow so impatient, waiting for the Lord, waiting for the promise, and we start to conjure up works of our own. And what we do is we end up producing a false image of God. We end up turning ourselves into our own workmanship. And we think that we have to do it. We have to take the bull by the horns. We have to make it happen. If you don't do it, then nobody's going to do it, right? That's what the world will tell you. And it's not so in the kingdom. But what happens is that when the Israelites made the idol of the golden calf, when Moses came down from the mountain, you see, he took the golden calf and he crushed it. He crushed it down to small pieces, to a powder almost, and put it in the stream of water. And then he made the Israelites drink that water. And this is what happens when we make idols in our lives by not being patient, or whatever it is that's caused us to do it, is that we ultimately end up getting filled with that idol, you see. And instead of being filled with the Lord, we end up filling ourselves with that thing, with that image that we've crafted for ourselves to worship, with a false image of mankind who was made in the image of God. And we trade in this own idea of how our life should look, this own idea of what we should be doing with our life, this own idea about our identity, our calling, and our place in the kingdom and in the world. And we forge our own image. We trade in the glorious, incorruptible image of God, which is the pure image of mankind, right? God's original intention for man, Jesus Christ's image. We trade that in for a corruptible image of man, something that he was never supposed to become. And something that man was never supposed to become was to be a being that relied on his own power and his own strength and his own means for his protection, for his success, for his provision, for his delight, for his joy, for his satisfaction and fulfillment. But we were always supposed to rely upon the Spirit of God and God himself and the personal intimacy that a man can have, that he was created to have with his Creator, who loves him so dearly, who made him in a way that he needs to be filled with his Creator's love all of the time, or else he is not functioning. He is not functioning properly. He is not fulfilled. He does not feel protected, secure, and safe. You know? And if we feel that way in our lives, sometimes it's reminding us, it should remind us that, you know, maybe we are drifting away a little bit from our first love. Maybe we are making something else in our life to be bigger than just the presence of the Lord. Right?